We will first up request our session moderator to please take up the stage. Can we please request Shahud Siddiqui, the Chief Digital Officer, CDO from Coffee App, to please join us. Hi, Shahud. A very, very warm welcome to you. I hope I pronounced your name correctly as well. So I'm keeping fingers crossed that you'll give me a yes on that. But as you're getting mic'd up, please allow me to welcome your much accomplished panel. Can we please request Jairaj Perumal Sami, the Group Head of IT from Barakat Group, to please walk up next. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not every day that we get to meet them in person. Please welcome them with a good round of cheer. Can we next up welcome Ali Katkhada, the Group CIO from JPA Group. Let's welcome you with a round of cheer. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't hear the applauses. Please welcome Nasir Nathoa, the Executive Head, Ascom IT Distribution. Please welcome Phil Marlowe, the Managing Director, Middle East at AVI SPL. And, of course, Gigi Matthew Thomas, the Group Director, IT and Digital Transformation Group Director, IT and Digital Transformation, of course, to also walk up onto the stage. Well, ladies and gentlemen, because the panel discussion, as you know, is 40 minutes of a duration there, I will request the panelists to please keep their answers crisp and under 2 minutes, as of course the moderator guides. But let's ensure that in fact, we have reduced it to, we are 30 minutes, so I think crisp and in fact impactful discussions on the way. Shahud, I'll request you to please take care of this and take charge. Thank you. Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to be here in the vibrant city of Dubai, a city known for its rapid technology advancement and its aspiration for a sustainable future. My name is Shahud. I'm CTO at OneTech Capital, and I've been in this field from last 12 years. Today, I'm honored to moderate this panel discussion on driving sustainability goals for enterprise with the technology. As we know, sustainability is no longer just a buzzword. It's a reality now. It's a business imperative. Technology, with its ever-evolving nature, has to play the pivotal role in driving and helping the business and enterprises to achieve the goal. Joining here, we have our esteemed panelists. And I really want to start with Mr. Jairaj. How are you?
Fine, great.
Please introduce yourself and let us know about the initiatives of your company. And
good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much of being part of this panel discussion. So I am Jairaj. I am handling group IT, all around IT in Barakat Group of companies. And I do have around 20 plus years of experience in across all the industries, from telecommunication, construction, facilities management, food and beverages, consumer packed goods, retail, wholesale, e-commerce, etc. And there is no introduction required for the company Barakat that everybody know in, especially in UAE. It's a 40-year-old company. It's Emirati owned. And we are known for the freshness and the sustainability initiatives that we closely work with government and local farmers, in fact, customers. I can take some example of the sustainability initiatives that Barakat Group of companies implemented in the recent years. The first one, I can take it 100 miles initiative. So we, as I said, we closely work with many local farmers and government entities. So we had an initiative along with the local government, and our vision is to source and distribute local producers fresh within 100 miles. Distance. On top of it, we do have next initiative. We have a lot of initiatives in sustainability. I can take only few here because of time constraint. The second one, I can take it farm to table within 48 hours. So as we partner with many local farmers. So we are able to produce directly from the farms to the table with a wide range of our distribution and cold chain channels, impacting the same freshness within 48 hours. And we are also taken an initiative of recording, measuring and reporting the carbon footprint saved. So far we have saved around 40% of carbon footprint that generated across in our operation, and we are aiming to make it to furthermore in the coming years. In fact, UAE government has a vision of having a zero carbon emission in the year 2050. So we are working towards in that direction along with the local farmers.
Thank you, Jairaj. Let's move to our next panelist, Mr. Ali. Ali is the CIO at Deepak Group. And Ali, please tell us about yourself and some of the initiatives of sustainability at your organization.
Okay. First of all, maybe nobody knows Deepak Group because we don't deal with end user. We consist of 4 different listed companies or listed groups around the world. We are an interior contractor. One of our group do the hotels around the world. So most of the icons you might think of done by this group as an interior, starting from Burj Al Arab, Burj Khalifa, Atlantis, Flame Towers in Baku, Sun and Sands in Singapore, etc. Second group is in Germany, headquartered in Munich, specialized in super yacht interior and private jets. Third group is retail interior, so for elite brand like Dolce & Gabbana, Apple Store, etc., Cartier, etc. The IT is centralized, so we are taking care of all the ITs around for all these companies. We are listed. We used to be listed in London Stock Exchange. We listed in Singapore Stock Exchange and in Nasdaq Dubai. So there are a lot of regulation. Talking about sustainability, just to save time. Sustainability became mandatory for listed companies to generate every year a sustainability report, especially in Singapore. Since 2016, we are generating a sustainability report every year for how we are doing and what is our KPIs and our data sets, etc. We have done many initiatives. Maybe later on we'll talk about the details about
Definitely.
that. But we have done few initiatives in blockchain, NFTs, metaverse. We eliminated in our industry. It's we have something called mock-up. We built a mock-up, real physical mock-up of the hotels before we really built this hotel, and it usually costs couple million, sometimes couple $1 million, just to showcase how the material and the colors match together, and then all these mock-up just waste after you get the approval and the certificate. So when maybe 7 years ago, when VR, virtual reality and augmented reality get advanced and the feasibility studies of the cost was reasonable, we start introduce, instead of building physical mock-up, we start building it in the virtual reality. 4 years ago, when the blockchain technology came in and the metaverse concept came in, we jumped into that with some partners, and we start building mock-up in the metaverse so our customers can see and feel how the hotel will look like, how the bathroom will look like, how the tiles and the marble will match or not, without wasting energy. I will stop here just to give chance for other
Sure.
colleagues.
So let's move to the next panelist, Mr. Gigi. He is the CIO at Etihad International Investments. And please tell us about yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, Shahud. So, hello everyone. First of all, it's a great pleasure to be here, part of this esteemed panel. I'm representing a group called Etihad International Investment. We are a 10,000 employee group holding company based out of Abu Dhabi. Our major segments are manufacturing, trading, construction, waste management. So there is quite relevant. We do have around 11 factories, so sustainability is the hot topic at the plate at the moment. So there are quite a few initiatives that we have done, whether it's an ongoing journey, like they say, which started with our transformation journey, which started with moving workloads onto the cloud. There were a lot of initiatives along the lines of going paperless. And then within the factory fronts itself, we've started looking at green sourcing, going down and starting to look at, because we source from across the globe, how the sourcing happens, is it sustainable, to be able to capture carbon footprint of what we are generating, and also of the next level of the service providers, and to be able to report that. Now reporting is becoming a mandatory element, so I guess we will go into
So,
details.
are you using any tool or software to measure the carbon footprint?
Yes, we are using a platform. I'm not naming it at the moment.
Yeah.
However, we are using a platform to capture, and I believe most of my peers here also will be using some sort of platform to be able to capture what's the footprint at Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3 levels. Hopefully, we'll get an opportunity to talk in detail.
Definitely, yeah. So let's move to our next panelist, Mr. Phil. He is Managing Director at AVI SPL. Phil, please tell us about yourself.
Thank you very much. I'm Phil Marlowe, the Managing Director for AVI SPL in the Middle East. AVI SPL is an American technology integration firm based out of Tampa, Florida, and I run our Middle East operation headquartered here in Dubai. We're about 4,300 people globally, and we're the technology people, so we're working on making sure that everyone can communicate and how you communicate at work amongst your peers and globally. Our big focus recently has been around the sustainability of the products that we install within our buildings. A lot of people are only thinking about the direct impact around the sustainability. Is the product built in a sustainable way? Is it in a sustainable package? We're looking at a level deeper than that when it comes to a design. We're saying, is that product energy efficient? That was a big thing back in the United States in the 90s, was Energy Star efficiency. But people really don't think beyond that. We're looking at software platforms that your companies use, and everyone right now is saying, oh, let's go to the cloud, let's get everything out of our own data centers. And they're seeing a direct impact on their energy usage, but they're not seeing that at the end of the day, all you're doing is pushing it off. So I think we talked earlier about optimization,
Yeah.
right? And that's what we do. That's what my team here is today. We're partnered with Barco, talking about unified communications and how you communicate over platforms such as WebEx, Teams, and Zoom.
So tell us about one important thing, right? So hybrid is now a thing of post-COVID. So how it is helping to increase the sustainability?
Yeah, so we call it digital transformation. Obviously, post-COVID, or actually, in the middle of COVID, people had to digitally transform. There was this massive pivot where no one could go to offices. So we were all forced to work in this hybrid model. And we've seen a lot of organizations stay with it. A lot of organizations are having people come back to the office. And what we see people are not succeeding in that is that they just don't have a robust enough platform behind it. And a lot of it is education. But the majority of it is a lack of user adoption. And we kind of have a rule that, for example, in a meeting room, when you walk into a meeting room, if you can't sit down and use that meeting room, connect and display your laptop or get on a call within 30 seconds, you won't have user adoption. People won't use it, they'll be hesitant to use the technology, and they'll go back to their own ways. We developed a software platform in-house called Symphony, and we created a report for a Fortune 100 financial client of ours that wanted to track carbon offset based on video calls versus flying those people to that location. So we built an algorithm that said, listen, you're not going to fly 7 people to visit the one. That one would have flown to the 7 people in London, for example. And the results were astonishing of how much carbon they saved just by using a video call. But again, I think we've all been on calls. You're on mute. We can't see you. Kids are running through the background. We're trying to make that experience more natural, and we're working with our manufacturing partners to try and deliver that best experience in the most sustainable way.
Thank you. Thank you, Phil. So our last panelist, Mr. Nasir, he's the CEO of Golden Triangle Technology. Welcome, Mr. Nasir. Please tell us about yourself. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Shahid, right?
Shahid,
Yeah,
yeah.
they say. My name is Nasser. So I'm CEO of a distribution company, IT distribution company called Golden Triangle Technology. I'm also the executive head of a new distribution company, a value-added distributor, which we've started here and present here today, Ascom IT Distribution, very much in the value-add space around cybersecurity. I guess compared to my other panelists, the main thing for us around sustainability is because we're a distributor, we have a 7,000 square meter facility in Jebel Ali. So most of the issues that we faced around energy consumption, keeping the place cool, etc. So some of the things that we're trying to do is to optimize around the usage of that, particularly in the summer months. And also being a distributor, we have to move a lot of product. So, we're using, obviously as much as we can, recyclable packaging, etc. to minimize that. Just this week, in actual fact, we have completely revamped the office. We figured out after a while that our AC system was actually not very efficient. We were having to overrun it, and hence, again, massive usage of energy. So we've completely replaced that with more energy efficient systems. So as a very simple distributor, we look for ways and means to cut our footprint on the environment. So we're doing at this level simplistic things. But going forward, I'm sure that we'll look at the way that we do business, the way they operate, and try and cut costs and cut our impact in the business that we're in. And that could be from maybe moving to electric vehicles for our transportation and things like that.
So my question to Ms. Nasser, do you see the role of technologies like IoT and AI helping to optimize the supply chain of the business, which has a direct impact on the scope 3 of sustainability?
Yeah, so IoT, not necessarily new technology, but I think with the introduction of 5G, with the introduction of edge computing, that ability to manage your supply chain has become, I wouldn't say easier, but certainly the technology is there to enable that. The thing with that is that much as you as a company want to have IoT work for you in order to meet your sustainable strategy, and that would be documented in your ESG metrics, etc. The challenge is, how do you work downstream to make sure that the people that you're buying from are also using that methodology so that you're able to make sure that you're buying products that are ethically sourced, products that, don't impact the local environment there. There's a human element of it, people to be paid fairly for the work that they do to produce those things. So there's a big job to be done beyond the natural borders of you as a company. But I think with the technology that's available to us today, with the software capabilities, the ability to track who you're buying from, what they're doing in order to be sustainable, to contribute to a job that, frankly, all of us have to do. Climate is not something that's going to happen tomorrow. It's already here. We can see the devastation around the world already with some of the unknown events that were not there before. So I think it's incumbent on us all to make use of the technology that we have today. And I'm a big believer in technology. I was 15 years at Intel. At Intel, we were always working 5 years down the line in terms of what can we do bigger and better. So I'm a big believer in the positive, energy around technology as an enabler to make things better. So IoT will be great. I can just give you an example. During the pandemic, car industries work on a just-in-time model. And, it's so critical that each and every part arrives at the factory just in time to make that car. And we had the situation in COVID when the supply chain got completely disrupted, that car manufacturing in the UK came to a stop because a $5 chip did not arrive in time to make that car. The economic impact for people in the car industry was huge. And hence the reason now, even in Dubai, if you want to buy a car, you have to wait 6 months. Or if you want to buy a second-hand car, the price has gone up by 20%. So, but we say we're now recovering, and with IoT and that, the technology that we have, a good job can be done, I think, towards sustainability.
Right. So my next question is for Mr. Gigi. Since you are managing almost 50 portfolios, right? So and it is heavily on manufacturing. So how you are educating your teams and your operational teams and the manufacturing team about sustainability, as well as what are the initiatives for to decreasing the scope 3 of sustainability initiative?
Sure. So first of all, there's the essential element, which is awareness, right? At the end of the day, it all starts with us. Specifically, I mean, I like the example which my colleague Nasir mentioned. I'd like to just take on from
Sure,
this
sure,
and
sure,
continue. Because we also have heavy supply chain operations. Now, one of the initiatives that we did is we set up, so we have over 33 companies in the group, and one of the initiatives that we did is we formulated a separate company to aggregate all of our shipping requirements. So now you're talking about route optimization, you're talking about volumetric planning within the containers, and we have an entity within the group who's able to do that and is able to leverage the economies of scale when you're having shipping. So that has brought about huge savings within the group, and to the point where now we are looking to launch that as an aggregator service beyond the group into the market, because we really believe that that is with new regulations coming. We've heard of the regulations that from next year there's not going to be availability of, for example, the 65-ton trucks. So there is going to be a lot of changes happening on this front, and we have to get innovative about it. How to manage. Another example what I can give is we do have a waste management company. They do waste sorting, so there is a lot of operations that handle on that front, and there are refuse from that which actually go into as an input to our cement factory. So that was another initiative, and that was an in-house born initiative to see, and now that has impacted us on cost and to become sort of a USP for us, because we've been able to leverage that. And at the end of the day, capturing all of this information, the impact that it's making, that's the other critical element, to be able to measure. Every company uses n number of systems and n number of platforms. It's very easy to estimate it, but to be able to capture the actual values and to formulate to see what impact that this does. So you coming back to having a proper carbon accounting platform, and then to see to be able to compare yourself with other industry metrics as well as your peers in the market. So
do you see like currently all the carbon calculation softwares, they are still very manual, right? So there are a lot of uploading information, manual uploading, because there you need to calculate electricity, you need to calculate your vehicle.
Yes.
So how do you see like to automate these processes?
So that's a very good question. So now we are looking at automating this. Like for example, we have the BOM for production planning. So when you're manufacturing, you know how much electricity you're going to consume, how much water you're going to consume. You know the units. These numbers are already available at hand. When you're having a shipping route, you already know the route. You already know the mileage, the fuel, and the consumption. It's about being able to take that and integrate it with the platform. Now that's one thing that's for us on target this year, because this has been a recent development. We just onboarded the platform. The first set of data that went in was manual, and it was a nightmare to be able to capture all of this in Excel sheets and to upload.
Yeah.
However, that being said, the beauty of these platforms is they all integrate. They are all ready to integrate, and I believe that's the way that we're going to see. Most of the prominent market ERP solutions will come out with APIs for these platforms, and the data, at least a good 80% of the data is there. There will always be the next level, and for which we'll have to get the information from our peers or from where we are sourcing. But other than that, at least for your within the organization boundaries, you would be able to integrate most of the data.
Absolutely. So my next question is for Mr. Jairaj. So considering you are leading your technology team of your company, so what are the technological initiatives you did from the last 3 years for sustainability?
Okay. As I started, we are closely working with government and the local parties in many sustainability initiatives. So all sustainability initiatives, there is technology initiative in the behind. And in Barakat, IT is part of the senior leadership team. And it is not just delivering technology. So IT is strategically connecting with business in the strategical plan itself, so that where we wanted to keep us after 3 years. So it has been forecasted in the early stage, and from there actually IT is involving in day-to-day activities, connecting with all the stakeholders and delivering the solutions. So that's how we work. And we are more innovative company. Our delivery cycles are very, very faster. In fact, we deliver weekly, even Microsoft Dynamics, and we have very strong team. If you take the sustainability initiatives, what the company delivered, and there is, as I said, there is an IT solution behind. Let's start from the 100 miles delivery. How we are tracking the 100 miles, how we are ensuring the local producers being sourced within 100 miles and delivered, sourced and delivered within 100 miles. So we do have a solution built. In Microsoft Dynamics itself, we customized ourselves, where we geographically tag all the farms, all the local farms. So we do currently deal with 50 plus local farmers all across UAE. We geographically tagged that. Also, we do have many distribution points. These distribution points also geographically tagged, and we are using route optimization so that we are making sure these things are sourced and distributed within 100 miles. Right. And again, we do have next initiative, if you take it, that farm to table within 48 hours. That is again connecting. These are all not disconnected solutions. These are all connecting together. When we are talking about local sourcing, it should be within 100 miles and it should be delivered within 48 hours. These two things are connected. And third thing, if we take it, we wanted to maintain the freshness across our cycle from farm to table. So we are using this IoT sensors to track the fruits and vegetables quality. Say for example, temperature, humidity, and we are one of, I can say we are the first in UAE and one of the largest cold chain operator. We have many fleets in operation all over UAE. All our fleets are connected with fleet management solution, also the sensors. So we monitor the temperature, we monitor humidity, we monitor the chillers, we monitor even the truck doors, whether it is open or closed, when it is open, when it is closed, when the chiller is on, when the chiller is off. All these things are monitored, and it is centrally monitored by our quality team. We do have a real-time sustainability board. It is developed and it is readily available for all our management team as well as customers. So customers will be able to log into the portal where they can see their sustainability score. They can see actually what are all the top 5 or 10 products which is contributing to the sustainability. How much the greenhouse emission is saved, CO2, how much CO2 is saved for the products what they have purchased. And every customers, they are purchasing hundreds of products. Out of that, how much percentage or what are all the products are being locally sourced. This also we are providing a complete visibility. There is an IT solution built which is actually providing customer an option. In their invoice itself, in the header, there is a clear indication of, there is a green patch with CO2 saved, what is the total amount of CO2 saved. And also every line item, which are all locally produced. And also what is the quantity, how much kgs of that particular product is sourced locally. And you all know that when we are talking about fruits and vegetables, these are all the items are coming from all over the world. Just take it an apple and as an example, it is not just apple. Apple from South Africa, apple from USA, apple from China. So there are a lot of country of origin is in place. Out of that, say for example, if you take, there are some 100 kg of apple being delivered to one customer from Holland, there is a line item. In that line item, how much is sourced from local? So this also been clearly specified and it is been given to the customer.
Thank you. So, sorry, because we are short of time. So, Phil, one last question. What are the challenges of sustainability efforts from a technology point of view you're facing?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the organization, right? How are they structured? Where are they located geographically? and what different platforms they need to use every day. Another big challenge we have in Dubai is obviously real estate. Every square meter counts. We all face that as business leaders. It affects our bottom line. So making sure that we're getting the most out of every square meter within our facilities. Probably the biggest challenge we have in the technology space, though, really has to do around the life cycle of that particular either platform or the hardware. It doesn't matter whether it's software or hardware, you're making an investment into that. There is an upfront cost from a CapEx perspective and then an ongoing OpEx. Making sure that we're getting a software platform that is the right fit with the right hardware and that will grow with you. So when you look at the environmental sustainability of an item, you really have to look at what is the life cycle? Is it 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years? You'll have different business leaders from different groups will tell you, we want to get 10 years out of a technology platform or technology hardware piece of equipment we purchased today. But in actuality, keeping up with current technology trends sometimes shortens that as much as 5 years or sometimes up to 8 years shorter than that 10-year mark. So that's probably the biggest, challenge we have is keeping up with technology and making sure that our clients have everything they need now and in the future.
I'd like to add to that.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So there is also the significant challenge of change. So we're talking about, we need to do things different. So we're talking about synergies, we're talking about departments clubbing or companies merging on certain layers to do certain activities. So these kind of synergies is really going to shake up things. So there is a people element to this and the change that's it's bringing about. So the readiness and like how my colleague said, the awareness, the readiness, getting having people put at ease throughout this journey is critical.
Yeah. So, Ali, since we have only like 10 seconds, for Deepak Group, what is the roadmap for carbon neutral?
It's a very big question. Actually, we have set, as I said, first of all, there is maybe one element nobody have enlightened, which is about compliance.
Yeah.
As a public listed company, you have an internal audit, you have an external audit, and one of your obligation against the stock exchange is to be comply with certain compliance. And compliance is one of the very important element that you have to keep in mind when you are putting your KPIs. And the KPIs should come from the shareholders, cascaded to the board of directors and to the C-suites who will distribute it across the organization. Technologies will play a role to make sure there is a culture and there is a KPIs, tools put on the across the organization to measure and to make sure you are on the right track for your organization sustainability goals. Another dimension is the culture. I think culture, he just shed some light on that. Culture of the organization, whether bring your own devices, for example, something very small, or work from home, or hybrid culture for work, that make a big difference. In Germany, for example, we have offices, one in the north of Germany and the other one in the south of Germany. And usually the director used to fly every week.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, the whole culture changed where they cannot fly. And then they have shifted towards video conferencing, and we built also, as I said, some metaverses for them. We participated in the boat show, the interior boat show in Monaco and in Dubai. And they have realized, those directors, that, well, I don't need physically to travel in order to really done some deals or have some conferences. And we have shifted the culture towards video conferencing 100%. That's all a big shift in the mindset. And another challenge is how you measure these footprints of these changes in the culture or in the governance. So you have to have a KPIs, and somebody has to own this and measure that. Yeah, I think
I just to close on that, I think that one of the big things is about sustainability is that a lot of people can talk about it, and I think you make a really good point, but own it, right? It's
Right.
actually one of my company's core values is own it, and it's, you know, be responsible for it, be in compliance with it, and you know, actually do it. Because I think a lot of people say they want to do it, and you know, this was a large joke back in the early 2000s, was people were putting the recycled symbol on a piece of packaging and printing it with green ink and saying it's recycled, when it actually wasn't. It was all a
Right.
gimmick. They said it was like less than 10% of all packaging was actually from recycled material, and it was just a marketing ploy.
But then another question will come, who should own it? Whether IT department, I just realized most of us are from IT background or CIOs, or the business should own it, or do we have a dedicated department or dedicated team who should run after this and make sure all these KPIs and goals of sustainability is
Monitored,
cascaded?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So,
I think that's where we're falling behind. I think
Right.
that's where we have a lot to learn.
I think awareness and measurement is the most important thing. For the next 2 years, I think if all of us can focus on this particular part, the next 5 years would be, yeah, please, Nasser.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the piece about the technology part towards sustainability, it's almost a bit of a paradox because technology is an enabler to solve some of the biggest challenges ahead of us. So by definition, we need more compute power, which means the implementation, deployment, and more devices. I think what's not paid enough attention to is the e-waste management of those, the recycling of those parts. Because, you know, in all computers, and I know from my Intel days, rare earth minerals, you know, there's a lot of, that is a very scarce commodity. And a lot of that goes wasted because when we are finished with the equipment, we don't today, I think only 17% of e-waste is actually recycled. I mean, that's terrible because a lot of that very valuable minerals or material is just thrown away. Right. There's stuff that could be recycled, reused elsewhere in a sustainable way. So I think that's an area that I think the industry, we are all involved in IT in some way, shape or form. I think we need to do a bit around evangelizing that because a lot of times we just ship this stuff off to be landfill somewhere and it shouldn't be the case.
I think too, people forget in technology, they always, if people, the forethought is scope 2, scope 3,
Yeah.
right? And we talked earlier about scope 1. No one really thinks about scope 1 as a piece of device, a piece of equipment, because we're not manufacturing it, right? Okay. And that can run into a problem that people don't think about the rare earth minerals that go into these things and what happens to it, and is it being recycled in an ethical way and being reused? Right. So I do agree with that.
So I think we are up. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's conclude this panel. Thank you.